Hi everyone, it's Krisha here, and I said I'd be on at 4:30 today to talk about the one workout that you should be doing every single day to be at the top of your game. And no, this has zero to do with fitness. This is all about working out the big beautiful muscle. It's not really a muscle, but the big beautiful muscle that's between your ears every single day. The reason why people fail at new eating habits, fail at doing exercise, fail at any kind of work that they set out to do is because they don't activate the thoughts and the beliefs that are part of what makes up the wider process of what they're doing. So if you start something new and you're going into it with a belief that it's not going to work, or you're going into it with a belief that you're going to fail, and even if this is a subconscious belief and you don't even know that you have this belief, then you're going to be sabotaged somewhere along the way. And so what you need to do is become hyper vigilant about the thoughts that are occurring in your mind in order for you to know what these sabotages are, in order for you to know what is going to be the thing that's going to knock you out and cause you to not succeed at whatever this thing is. And the only way that you can do this kind of work is by becoming curious about your thoughts. There's many levels to all of this work, but if you're just starting out on any kind of mindset work, it's really about becoming observant of the thoughts that are in your head. And most of us walk around ignoring most of these thoughts, or most of the thoughts are really negative and they're really heavy, and we try to escape these thoughts by eating or by drinking or by doing things that are a little bit more on the destructive side than on the constructive side. And so doing any kind of mindset work does require you to pay attention to what those thoughts are. And if you're not happy with the thoughts that are going on in your head, well, the first thing you're going to want to do is run away from those thoughts, shut them down as if they don't exist. But then what ends up happening is the sabotages knock you out, right? Because you're not aware of what these things are that's going to cause you to stop doing whatever it is that you set out to do. So, for example, I'm just thinking of something here, and you want to start working out and you want to have exercise as part of your routine, and you say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put it in my calendar and I'm gonna do this, and this is it, this is gonna be my week for starting back up and doing all these healthy things. But then maybe you don't even know it, but you have a little voice inside of you that says, yeah, right, you're just going to fail at this like you fail at everything else. You're too fat to exercise. You're too out of shape to exercise. You don't know what to do to exercise, right? The gym's too far away, whatever. There's a whole bunch of stuff that ends up being run in your head. And until you actually start to pay attention to what's going on up there and observing and noticing it, these things are going to wipe you out. And maybe you'll go for the first week, maybe you'll do whatever you're saying you're going to do for the first week, but then one of those thoughts are going to come up. Something is going to come up, and it's going to reinforce the belief that you already have, right? So, I don't know, let's just say I feel too fat to work out, right? Because I know that was a thought of mine when I was trying to lose weight. I was like, I don't want to be running around and jumping around with all this extra fat on my body because it feels gross, right? I didn't feel good. And so what would happen? I would start to work out, and then I would feel the jiggle, and I would be like really uncomfortable, and then I would stop because I just wouldn't like that. So, that's sabotage right there. And I didn't know really that I had that thought. I mean, I knew I had that thought, but I didn't know how that thought was knocking me out. So with any kind of mindset work, the first thing that you need to do is gather an awareness of what is going on between your ears. Gather an awareness of the thoughts that you're thinking. And this is where journaling actually can be really, really handy. You know, I know a lot of people aren't really into journaling, and that's fine. And I'm not a big journaler, but I know that when I'm going through something where I know I'm being asked by the universe or whatever to step up, or I want to change something, I'm sick of a habit or a pattern or something, I find that when I start to journal, and that just simply means, it's not a fancy, weird thing, it just simply means writing in a notebook. When I start to do that, and I start to get what's in here out on paper, then I'm like, whoa, those are some crazy ass thoughts. And that's that awareness piece, because now I'm able to see what's going on in my head in black and white, or blue and white, depending on if you use a blue pen. And that awareness just in itself gives you something to move forward with, right? How do you move forward? We'll have to talk about that in another live stream, but it depends on what the thoughts are, it depends on what you want to do. But definitely getting this stuff out there and having that just simple awareness of what it is that is going on in your head is really the first step in terms of being able to go to the next level and 2.0 your mindset. This is what I call it with all my clients. It's like, do you want to be, you know, 1.0 version of yourself or 2.0 version of yourself? And when you're facing an issue and you're doing this mindset work, you have to, and something comes up in your life, you have to look at it and decide, do I want to, you know, deal with this particular thing in the way that I used to deal with problems, avoiding, controlling, whatever, blaming, being the victim, or do I want to 2.0 this and deal with this particular problem in a way that 2.0 me will deal with this problem? And the only way to get from 0 or 1.0 to 2.0 is to have that awareness in the first place that you have certain thoughts and you have certain things that are going on. The best way I got through a lot of this stuff was by hiring coaches. And I've had coaches nonstop for the last 2 years. And, you know, it's come at a great expense, but it's been the best investment I've ever made, because I've been able to really dig deep and see what the thought patterns were that were keeping me stuck, and that were keeping me small, and that were keeping me in a loop of excuses, right? And so having that person to say to you, you know, I call bullshit on that, or here's a different way of looking at it, or is that really the truth? You know, you have this belief, you have this mindset, you have this thought in your head, but is that really the truth of what's going on? And having that person being able to help you navigate that is priceless. And it's not a best friend, and it's not somebody who's going to be like all rah-rah cheerleadery. It's somebody who is going to kick your ass when you need an ass kicking. It's somebody who's going to love you when you need to be loved, right? And it's somebody who knows how the hell to get you from having that loopy loop of, you know, negative thoughts or sabotage thoughts or whatever, pull you out of it, but also somebody who can see your loopy loop and see what your hook is and see what your thoughts are and pull you out, right? So for me, that's been super beneficial and has, you know, changed my life pretty much. And that's not a small exaggeration. And, you know, that's why I do so much of it with my clients, because I see the benefit of it, you know, in terms of, you know, changing up eating habits and changing up how you feel about your body and changing all of that stuff. You have to work that muscle that is up here in order to be able to, you know, really start to shift these habits that you say you don't want anymore. You know, it's one thing to say you don't want something anymore. My computer just went dark, so I just went dark. It's one thing to say that you don't want something anymore. It's another thing to actually do something about it. And most people they daydream, they say they don't want it, or they say they do want something else, but then they don't do the work that's needed in order to get there, right? Because the work needed is hard. It's hard work, I'm not gonna lie. Why sugarcoat it, but once you've gone through that journey, then, what's on the other side of that is this whole other way of being, and this whole other way of living that really lights you up and is closer to who you truly are inside. It's not to say that you don't still have doubts or fears or worries or anything like that, but you just manage them and deal with them in a completely different way. And so part of my mindset practices is to, I now meditate like at least 30 minutes a day. I go down to the beach in the morning and I do that. And I've done some live streams from there for you guys. I work with coaches, like I said, and I read like a lot of books on mindset kind of things. And it really helps me to see a different view on these kinds of things and see where my sabotages and the things that are stopping me can be stopping me. So I think just having that awareness, though, for anybody who's at the beginning stages of this, like I'm 2 years into this, so anybody who's at the beginning stages of this, like most of my clients, it's really a matter of becoming observant on what's happening and also feeling into your body as well, right? Sometimes what happens is you'll have a physical sensation in your body and the thought will follow it, but the thought is so ingrained and it's so subconscious that you don't even know it's there, right? So you might have this like a feeling of, say, anxiety or a feeling of something going on, and it's usually, I'm pointing here because usually it's up here. Anything that's like negative or whatever, it's usually between this chakra and like your heart chakra and down to your solar plexus. And usually it'll feel like an anxiety or a tightening or something. And that could happen before a thought even happens, right? And so it's becoming aware of having those sensations in the first place, and then becoming observant about what the thoughts might be when that body sensation is happening. And if you don't know what the thoughts are, then that's fine, but just keep leaning in and keep listening to what's coming up, and guaranteed what the thoughts are. You're just ignoring them, or you're just avoiding them, right? Because you don't want to be that person. And so it's easier to ignore or to avoid the actual fear thoughts or the anxiety thoughts that are coming up in your head. But becoming observant and knowing what those thoughts are is really the first step towards unlocking all of the bullshit that goes on in your mind and be able to really move forward in a way that opens you up to so much more growth and abundance and all sorts of stuff. And this is so true when it comes to like your money mindset, and like around your health, around your body, like all of it. So this work doesn't, I always say like how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I had a client today, and we've done so much work around her mindset, getting her to 2.0 level of thinking, 3.0, 4.0 level of thinking with certain things. But a particular circumstance came into her life this week that she hadn't dealt with this whole entire time we were coaching together. And so I was able to say to her, look, how you're reacting to that right now is how 1.0 version of you would react to that. So let's take all of the stuff that we've done over the last several months and apply that to 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 person. Like, how would you now, knowing what you know about all of that stuff and how you're reacting to all the other things that are going on in your life, how would you react to this situation? And, we talked about it, and I was able to help her sort of see where she was making decisions based on ego, based on feeling sorry for herself, based on being a victim, instead of being an empowered person who, doesn't take shit and will say, you know what? No, like that is not the ultimate outcome that I want down the road. You know, like looking at it from a big picture point of view, if I react 1.0 level way, then I know I'm going to get 1.0 level results, right? So I don't want 1.0 level results. I want 4.0 level results, which are so much better. But, you know, I mean, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, sort of thing. I think I had another one of my clients say that to me last week. So for anybody who's on here and who's been watching, I hope you found this helpful. There's a lot to this mindset work, and it's very exciting for me to talk about it. And I was so pleased when I saw that you guys said that you wanted me to, because this is the stuff that I really enjoy talking about and can really help people through. And I love doing it. So I'm excited to keep this conversation going. And if anybody has any questions about mindset and, you know, anything at all, just pop it in the group, and I'll do, you know, a live stream on that particular topic for you. All right, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. Yeah, so if anybody has questions or whatever, or comments on this, I would love to hear. So please make sure that you pop your questions in the Facebook group, and I will answer them. All right, bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.